But no,
Yeah.
go ahead, take a bite of your sandwich, man. Before we get this, is it a sandwich? What are you eating?
Can a sandwich be sexual?
What?
Can a sandwich be sexual? Like eating a sandwich?
I mean, it depends on how you eat a sandwich.
This is a podcast. I'm not gonna eat a fucking sandwich on it. Let me get off the mic.
Okay, you can sound sexual eating a sandwich. I don't think this is the content people come to this channel for, but welcome to our recording. My name is Gage Sutton. I'm with the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton, and this is another episode of the show. So welcome. And Ethan, how you doing, man? Last week we didn't really do like a full-blown episode. We had our draft special. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I think we did pretty good with our picks.
Honestly, I think none of us really had really bad scenarios. I feel like both of us can. We'll talk about it later in the show. But I mean, hey man, I'm doing great, man. It's nice to see you, man. I know I saw you this weekend, man.
Yeah, it was.
I gave you,
it was, it was
gave you a special little gift. Gave you a special little gift.
Yeah, and I don't know why you start the show with the sandwich moan and then say something like that. You're giving the audience the wrong idea here.
I gave you a special gift.
Ethan is referring to a blonde vinyl that he was able to find at a record store in Dallas, and he was gratefully brought it back to San Marcos, and now I have it in my possession, and I'm very thankful for that, Ethan. Thank you.
I got you, my guy. I got you a Jarris one.
More importantly, both of us were in town to celebrate our friend Furnace and his 22nd birthday, and we had a blast. So happy birthday, Fern. We're giving some claps.
Happy birthday, Fern, man.
Appreciate everyone who came out. It was fun seeing all the guys. Had some Giants conversations with Cam. We'll get to all of that NFL stuff talk later, but also want to give some. Also want to give some celebrations. I know I kind of want to just take over right now. We're talking about celebrations.
Spotlight. ISO.
Let's celebrate everything. Let's celebrate our upcoming graduates. We have a lot of friends who are graduating from Texas State in the upcoming weeks. So shout out to Jason Collins. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Paige. I don't know who else is graduating. Am I missing anybody?
Avery.
Shout
out Avery. I think Jess and Maya are graduating too. Shout out the girlies. Shout out our very own Queen of Arbor Recording, Daniela, man. Let's give a round of applause to Daniela. She's graduating.
Oh yeah, Danny, the GOAT.
Yeah. Dylan's gonna do a cool little edit for our visual watchers right here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Are we missing anyone else? I think everyone else is gonna be sticking around maybe one or two more semesters. Travis is getting ready to get done.
Surprisingly, him and Dever surprisingly almost done. I thought I'd never see the day they get done.
Well, anyway, congratulations to all of our friends who are graduating, and I'm going to give a congratulations to ourselves. I think we've been doing a really good job of keeping up with, the podcast uploading schedule, and we've seen the numbers increase, and we can't do this without y'all. So we want to thank all of our viewers and everyone who supports us, and appreciate if you continue doing so. Like we say at the end of each video, make sure you like, subscribe. It's free. It helps us out, and share it with a friend.
Share it with a lover.
That too, as Ethan chews his sandwich. But all right, man, let's get into the shits. I'm ready to get this podcast going. We did our congratulations, we did our thank yous, all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about, man, I have this on the agenda.
Run it to me.
Should we talk about why we don't date women who go to music festivals?
We can, right? Because this weekend was very eventful, man. We went to 6th Street, man. There's a lot of people out at 6th Street.
Yeah.
You know? I had a lot of fun for Friend's birthday. A lot of beautiful women were out there.
Yeah.
A lot of beautiful women. The footage will not be shown here. But if you catch me engaged out in public, maybe we'll show you. Maybe we'll show you. So a little special, never before seen content. But, hey, man. I think you're spitting about it. Tell the audience what your take is on that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if this is my take. This is a take that I saw on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not
taking responsibility?
This as my take. Yeah, I'm not taking responsibility for this one. But Jason Collins sent a tweet in the chat this week, and it was about Andrew Tate saying something about meeting a girl who goes to music festivals and how he doesn't date girls who go to women or who go to music festivals. I gotta find the actual tweet because he said some wild shit. He called himself the top G and then went on to disrespect women. Like
they let him out of jail. He went the Don went crazy. They let him out of jail and the Don went crazy.
But the whole point of his rant was don't date women who go to music festivals. And I started thinking about it and I said, I don't know if there's any logic in that belief because like does going to a music festival make you a make you a hoe? I don't know. Like, I really
First of all, Gage,
so.
we're done calling women hoes. Okay,
well,
we've grown.
No. Andrew Tate, but
as a local feminist on the podcast, I feel like I should, hold you to the fire. But Andrew Tate is spitting right now. Let me explain why. Right, because I'm with him to a certain extent. Right, there's nothing wrong with going to concerts and festivals. But if you're a frequent festival goers. One eye open when I'm sleeping. One eye. I'll keep my eye out for you. All right. I'm just letting you know because we know what be going on in concerts. More specifically, like there's those brunches and those in-town festivals. Like I don't know if you saw, but on Twitter they were showing this like I guess a Houston brunch that was absolutely insane. Like
no, dude, that who sent that? Because they sent it twice, and I saw that video, and I think I watched it twice to make sure that I knew what I was.
Oh
seeing.
Yeah, I bet you did. But for those who are listening right now, the video because we cannot show it on the screen, but it was just out in public. I think it was like a pool party, and this is how you know summertime is coming because they're having a pool party and
it was
chicks were sucking dick in the crowd. It was absolutely outrageous. Like, bro, if I like am out in public, right? I'm at a brunch and we've been to like brunches or pool parties at Texas A, and I look to my left and this guy's getting next to me out in the open.
You're not gonna be kind of impressed?
No, I'm definitely impressed because like, you know how hard it is to like convince a woman to give you neck out in public. Like to give you neck, period. To give you neck already is just a great feat. But to give you neck in public when everybody's watching, that's a round of applause to that guy. But like that was just insane to me. Like watching, it was two women giving him neck. Like I don't know, I would have lost it. I would have been like, bro, I would have tapped you on the shoulder and be like, Gage, bro, you see. Like this guy's getting head right now out in public.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I get your point. I see this, and like I think that's what Andrew Tate is implying that like, oh, if you go to festivals, and let me quote him here. He said in the tweet, I have it pulled up. Hard pass, FESTI-Hos. FESTI-Hos is what he said. It sounds like festivals, I guess. Clever, whatever you want, Andrew. But this is my thing: is not everyone acts a fool like that at festivals. Like not everyone is sucking dick and doing crazy drugs and being a just absolute menace to society at festivals.
No, but at festivals is where it's at. At normal concerts, you wouldn't necessarily see that, but at festivals, you'll definitely see that.
No, you'll see it, but I'm just saying
a lot. Like, you'll see it a lot. You'll see it a lot.
But I'm saying
Andrew Tate spitting. Andrew Tate. FESTI-Hos is hilarious. That's the title of this episode. FESTI-Hos. Get the FESTI-Hos off the street. That's what it is.
See, I don't know if I buy that, man. Because if you just
you would
that makes you a hoe?
You would wife up. Okay, we gotta stop using that word because we're gonna
get in trouble. But okay, yeah.
Festi, let's use FESTI-Hos. Let's use FESTI-Hos.
It's like that's even better. But I mean, like you get the point. Like I'm just like Andrew Tate.
Nah, I'm gonna ride with the Don on this one. I'm gonna ride him. I'm not wiping up a chick I see at the festival. Then again, I'm a habitual liar. Like I'm a liar through and through. So I probably would, but
I think it's circumstance too. Do girls go to does a girl go to a festival by herself, or does she go to festivals with a bunch of friends and she enjoys going to concerts?
If I see a girl at a festival by herself,
that's a red flag.
That's a red flag because I know you're getting tossed in that crowd. Let's just keep it a stack. Like she's a FESTI-Ho. She's a FESTI-Ho.
All right. Well, I'm glad we changed the terminology because this feels a lot more respectful. You know, this just.
That's what we're feminists here. We didn't like. That's you know.
If we were feminists, we shouldn't even be giving Andrew Tate the time of day. But
he's spitting. When he's spitting, he's spitting. That's on pause. Damn.
Okay, yeah, we
That was
might just
insane.
need to we might just need to scrap this completely.
This is me. This is Meat Watch this week. Meat
Yeah,
Watch.
Meat Watch.
With that man.
Boo this nigga. Boo.
Yo, who mans is this?
Boing,
Get
boing,
off
boing,
of
boing,
his
boing, boing.
meat.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, just some funny stuff going on Twitter. The other thing I saw was Travis sent the video of the guy who was laying on the street with like ketchup on his head, and he was doing like a motivational video, and the cops pulled up and they thought he was like dead or something. And then he was like, no, I'm just filming a video. Actually, help me. And like, hey, get the cops on camera. So that like,
and the cops were like, look at it. I know exactly right. The cops were like, bro, that's the old generation of YouTube I miss, is when they were doing like those pranks, those fake pranks. I see them every now and then too. Like, I don't know if you've seen those two, I think the two Hispanic guys, but they're always walking around like Walmart or Home Depot, and they're always like, I guess, throwing shit on people and then moaning.
What? Okay,
like
I was gonna say, like, are those the kind of pranks you like though?
No, I don't, because my whole thing is like, oh, that's outrageous. But also, I get why they get their ass beat, because they do shit like that. Like, somebody will they'll throw a bucket on somebody's head and then throw a bucket on themselves. Like, oh my god, he got me too. But they never fool nobody. They never fool nobody. Because then the person's like, bro, I know that was you, because you're the only person fucking near me when this shit happened.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I get it, because I've met people who aren't into like that kind of comedy and aren't into that kind of stuff. Like Eric Andre. I love the Eric Andre show. I feel like we've never talked about the Eric Andre show on this podcast before, but it should really be applauded, because some of the skits that he gets away with in that show are fucking hilarious. But I guess just some people don't like it, like the shock appeal or like the idea.
My whole thing
is,
if that's who you're gonna be, then that's who you're gonna be. Like, I think doing that on the TV show is hilarious. I think you doing that in public, I'm just against like fucking with people in public like that. Some of them are funny. Like, I guess it's just like a moving goalpost thing. I think if you're throwing buckets on people's head, or like fake smacking asses and shit like that, that shit is is nasty. Leave those people alone. But have you seen the guy that does the water gun tricks in his own store?
No.
Okay, so I think it's in like a gas station or like a bodega, where they open the door and he's on the other side of the cooler with a water gun and he's spraying them in the face and spraying them in the hand and they're losing their mind. That is funny. That's like harmless fun, because this is my fucking store. If I want to spray you with water in my own store, then I'm gonna spray you with water in my own store.
Yeah, and it's a small amount of water, nothing crazy.
It's not like he's dumping a bucket of water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, but like, what would you do in a situation where like you get pranks like that? Like, you're out in public, out at a square, public area, and then someone comes up and they prank you and do something like that. How are you reacting? Because a lot of these people, they kind of just laugh it off. But I feel like in the moment, if something like over the line were to happen to me, I would flip the fuck out. I would be like, dude, that's not funny. Like,
no, it depends on what it is. Like the water shit, like I would laugh.
Fine.
Like,
yeah.
Like I would be like, it depends where I'm at. Like, am I with a girl? Am I by myself? Like, all of this has to play into effect. Am I around with friends? And like, what do you do? Like, are you just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you're throwing a bucket of water at me, I'm gonna lose, and I got a nice fit on, I'm gonna lose my mind. If you like spray me in the hand or spray me in the face, like how that guy was in the cooler, like I'm probably gonna be confused, but I'm gonna be like, oh, haha, and then laugh about it later. Like, I don't think I'll take it too much hard. But if you're throwing a bucket on my head or like toilet paper at me, I'm gonna be like, bro, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally get it. I think there's just some like lines that shouldn't be crossed when it comes to pranks, and I guess that just goes for entertainment in general. Like, there's just some lines you shouldn't cross. And hey, great transition. Talking about lines that shouldn't be crossed, WWE is in another scandal about racism. Shocker. But
nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, like, people saw the news come up this week. If you guys don't know, the WWE is being sued by one of their writers who was fired from the company and was saying that basically there were people in the company who were making her write and do stuff like do racist gimmicks and stuff for some of the superstars. So but this isn't a new thing. I mean, if you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, you've known that WWE has always been racist. There's always been racism. Like, It's
WWE is the only place
people have kind of
where,
accepted it. I don't know.
that's what I'm saying. WWE is one of the only places where like blatant racism is perfectly accepted.
It's so
Like,
weird because like you used to get away with a lot of shit in the 90s, and like obviously today we don't see as much of it, but I mean it wasn't that long ago where we had Kofi Kingston playing a Jamaican guy. He's not from Jamaica. He's from
bro,
Ghana.
that broke my heart. I remember when I found out Kofi Kingston was a Jamaican, because he was my third favorite Jamaican behind Bob Marley and Usain Bolt. He was my third favorite Jamaican. Wow, and when I found out he was a Jamaican, I was betrayed. Betrayed.
Okay, so what number on that list is he now? Number of like
favorite Jamaican?
Favorite Jamaican, yeah.
He's probably like 5th or 6th.
Wow, not even really Jamaican. And he still cracks top
Shelly
five.
Because then I gotta put him in front of I gotta put Shelly Ann Frazier in front of him, and rightfully so. I should have always had her, but there's something about Kofi Kingston being Jamaican that I was like, that's my guy, man. Because I remember wasn't it like Vince? No, it wasn't Vince. It was Triple H. I was like, he's not actually Jamaican. He was like South African or Ghanaian or something like that.
Yeah,
they gotta answer for that. The Ghanaians or South Africans, they have to answer for what they did to Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, and this goes way deeper than, saying that Kofi is Jamaican when, he's actually from Ghana or whatever. There are like actual very racist plot lines that have been taken over the whole WWE like story of the 90s, bro. DX came out in blackface when they did their mockery of the Nation of Invasion. I forgot what the hell.
Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination. Excuse me. That was like when The Rock was just starting. Mark Henry was in it, and DX came out in blackface. Everyone laughed it off in the 90s. But that's what I'm saying.
That's crazy when you look back on it.
They've been doing it for years. Like, this isn't a new thing. This is a deep-rooted problem within the company, and they have to do something about it. Like,
do they really though? I'm all for like, okay, I'm against racism. Let's put that. Hey, put it on the screen.
Hey, we've gone on the record on this podcast. We're both feminists. We're both anti-racist.
Gage. I think it's your turn to do that. Do the caution. Do the caution real quick into the mic.
All right. Warning: this show has opinions and thoughts that are not directly of the of the podcasters involved. Viewer discretion is advised.
Gotcha. Cool. We gotta clear it.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah. We gotta clear it. I'm all against racism. Like, we're activists, right, Gage?
Yeah.
You're an ally.
Yeah. Okay. Okay,
I get on it. I think racism should be left alone. Let WWE continue with racism. Those plot lines are hilarious. For the most part, I think as a white man, I'll be the one to say it for you. As a biracial man, I'll be the one to say this for you. Racism should be left alone in certain spaces. Comedy, if it's clever, let's let it rock. WWE, the same thing. Racism should be allowed in WWE. The plot lines were way funnier. Because everybody knows it's not serious. And they might be perpetuating a lot of stereotypes, but but I feel like it was just great. If you find a clever way to get racism into wrestling, I'm all for it. Staying.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. I will say, I mean, not to credit them for their racism, but like at least WWE has not like targeted just one group of. It's been predominant in every group of like they come in, they have an Indian wrestler, Jinder Mahal. His whole thing is that he's from India. Like that's his whole character gimmick. Then with don't even get me started on Mexico. They had JBL cross the border and chase Mexicans away, and it was the greatest thing. I don't know if you remember this. There's a whole like scene, Dylan. If you can find the clip or like a photo, there is a scene where JBL is he's got a flashlight and he's like hiding in the bushes, and there's a camera guy with him, and he's telling him like, "Hey, this is our country, and I'm gonna scare some Mexicans away." And then there's like a family of Mexicans, and he's like, "Hey, get out of here!" And he's yelling at them, "Get back to your country!" And he kicks one of them in the butt. Dude,
see that right there? That's good racism. That's good racism in wrestling. We need to keep
because he came out the next week and gets completely booed because he was going against Eddie Guerrero, who was everyone's favorite Mexican Latino wrestler at the time. So I guess you're right. There is some wiggle room here.
Definitely, like that
for the entertainment purpose. Yeah,
that's good racism in wrestling for entertainment person. I'll
good
give you an
racism.
example
I don't
of
think we
a
like.
bad racism, right? Is when Vince McMahon in front of Booker T and John Cena, right? Daps him up and is like, "Oh, what's up, nigga?" Like that is insane. That is like the fact that, and he had a do rag on, like he was not trying to be clever with it, like he was just trying to be like a shock jock. Like no, that we're not cool with. It's hilarious because it's the 2000s and the 90s,
Yeah,
but don't do it. Please don't do it again. Please don't do it again.
people forget there was a whole era where Vince wore a do-rag on ECW and had the championship. We just refer to him as do-rag Vince in that time period.
That's racist in itself. Do-rag Vince.
Do-rag Vince. I mean, because he was wearing. This is actually crazy. This was after he shaved, or Donald Trump shaved his head at WrestleMania. I don't know if you remember that storyline, but
Donald Trump shaved his head at WrestleMania.
Shaved Vince McMahon's head at WrestleMania.
Every single day when I think of a way I can hate Trump more, he just me something that makes me want to like him 20 times better.
That that makes you like him.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Hey, no judgment here. This has been a fun segment, but I feel like we should probably move on before we get canceled. Because I mean, like, people are already gonna think we're assholes. I mean,
if they've been watching the podcast already, if they're already in 20 minutes deep with us, they love us, man. They want us to see us thrive. And if you want to see us thrive and succeed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe in the description down below.
No, we really do appreciate all the love and support on the show. But let's move on and talk a little bit about the NFL draft. I know we did our mock draft with all of our friends on the Art Recording mock draft. Go check it out. Again, even though the draft's already over, you can go check it out and see how we did. I think, like I said, the picks line up and the video's funny as hell. So go check it out. But yeah, like we said, draft weekend is over. Ethan, I just want to get your initial takes, man. How do you feel about the draft? What are some like major storylines, some of your favorite picks, some of the favorite like just matches that you saw between teams and players?
In general?
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, for me, it's got to be, like, as a Cowboys fan, I guess we'll start with me because I'm a narcissist, you know? This is already recorded. This is my fucking podcast, so I'm going to talk about my team. But, no, honestly, as far as the Cowboys go, they very much went need rather than best player available, because even though I don't think this is that great of a top-heavy draft, you know, there's definitely some meat and potatoes in the middle. So, and I was happy with what we got. We got a D-tackle, a run-stopping D-tackle, to be more specific, in the first round, in Mozzie Smith, who is an uber athlete. I'll preface this, right, with there's a reason why he's 26 overall and not top 5, and I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But also, I'm very trusting in the fact with, especially Dan Quinn and what he and Mike McCarthy have been able to do with our defense. You know, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Donovan Wilson, Leighton Vander Esch has had a revival. DeMarcus Lawrence, like, we've been able to get pretty good players, pretty good picks. So I trust them, especially because I felt like that was really the only hole in our defense. And last year, when I saw that we had Jonathan Hankins in, especially towards the end of the season, I thought we were the best defense in the league, including the 49ers and the Eagles. But again, I'll preface this, when we had a run-stopping D-tackle and Jonathan Hankins in. But Jonathan Hankins is older, you know? Not to like football us too much, and I feel like Mozzie Smith, he really, like, I like the fact that in his interview when he got drafted with the Cowboys, he very much knows his role, and I can respect the player, and I'm actually like impressed too, because a lot of players are just like, yeah, I'm just excited to see what they work with me, but Mozzie was like, I'm in here to stop the run. Everything else will follow, but if I stop the run, then we're gonna see some big changes, and I'm with him because that allows guys like Michael Parsons, Sam Williams, and DeMarcus Lawrence to have one-on-one on the outside, and I think they're winning that matchup every single time. But honestly, the only pick I wasn't too happy with was the Schoonmaker, the tight end out of Michigan. I know he's athletic, but I mean, we could keep going on and on. I'm not a very big fan of picking tight ends in general. They're not a fan favorite, so to speak, from me. But Gage, how'd you feel about the Packers draft?
Funny you say that about tight ends. I was really happy with the Packers draft. I know night one I was kind of upset. If you saw our TikTok, I went through the yearly cycle of being disappointed when the Packers don't draft a wide receiver in the first round. Since you've known me, it's happened every year. And we can go down the list of receivers they skipped out on, but they did again on the first round. But in the second round, they took a tight end, and then they took another tight end in the third round, and another wide receiver, Jaden Reed from Michigan State. I really can't be happier about the way the Packers attacked the draft. I really think they went for best position available in the first round, and then the priority was get Jordan Love weapons and improve the offense. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited to see what Jordan Love brings to the table for the Packers. NFL draft in general, though, some of the surprises, running backs picked so high. I don't get it. I love Bijan. I went on record to say he's going to be one of the best players in this draft. And just because of the value of the running back position in the league, his position was kind of weird. And he just went to a team that I feel didn't really need him. Atlanta had Tyler Algier, 1,000-yard rusher last year, and they just drafted Bijan. I just don't think that was his best fit. I'm not mad at him being picked in the top 10. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, again, I'm a big fan of his game. I think he's going to be a really good running back, but why so high, Detroit? And why pick him when you could have had Bijan earlier in the draft before you traded out? That's just the way I look at it. It's kind of weird how teams value running back in the draft.
Yeah. And I think every year, I think us on social media, we realize how much like there's a difference in opinion between us and then the actual scouts. Because we always talk about it all the time. Like, there's always going to be a couple players that we think are going to go a lot earlier than they are. They really don't. They go a lot later, a la Christian Gonzalez, a la Jalen Carter. And a lot of players, they go a lot earlier than we thought, a la Mozzie Smith. A lot of people had a 2-round grade on him. Yeah. You get the odd people every here and then that's like, oh, we had a 1st-round grade, but who else was like that? A lot of people thought Osiris Torrance was going to go a lot higher than he did. Didn't go until the 2nd round.
Honestly, it was a fucking toss-up after pick 2 because we knew it was going to be Bryce Young and CJ Stroud probably going to be 1 and 2 off the board. And then after that, it was just complete chaos because the Texans traded back at the number 3, got Will Anderson, and then the Seahawks had the 4th pick and took Devin Witherspoon.
I'm a big Witherspoon guy. And you know how impressed I am with that pick? Think about it. Seattle had the Legion of Boom, right? Not one of them was drafted in the 1st round. Last year, they drafted Tariq Woolen, a great corner. He's going to be a very great corner.
And Kobe Bryant.
Neither one were in the 1st round. The fact they were able to take Witherspoon over a guy like Jalen Carter, you know what that means to me? That tells me they must think he is in. They must think he's the one. Seattle must think Witherspoon is 1A.
Or they got scared off by Jalen Carter's off the field issues because I thought that was going to be a really good fit for them too. I thought Jalen Carter could have slid right into their defensive line and made a huge impact. But
why wouldn't they have taken a guy like they could have took a receiver or they could have took a bunch of positions early?
Well, they could have they still got Jackson Smith
Tyree Wilson
later
That's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
first. Yeah,
they could have got Tyree Wilson. Why didn't they take Tyree Wilson over Witherspoon? That tells me Seattle thinks Witherspoon is the one. And I don't blame him. He is a Seattle corner. Like, he is uber physical. I think he was cornerback 1. I prefer him over Gonzalez. But I'm excited to see that cornerback duo. That could very easily be the best cornerback duo in football next year.
Yeah. Cornerback, another position that was a really deep draft class, like we talked about in the mock draft. Saw Christian Gonzalez go to the Patriots, like we mentioned earlier.
Love that fit.
I love that fit too, but I got to tell you, the Deonte Banks draft pick for the Giants is really good too in the 1st round.
He's gonna be good.
He's gonna be a baller. And
that's the one thing I think the Giants have missed in as like a divisional rival. Giants have never really had any corners since Janoris Jenkins, and I think Banks has very good potential. Same with the guy from Mississippi State in Washington. I think the NFC East had a great draft, just all around. Yeah. Surprisingly, this might be my hater. I think Philly had the worst draft out of all 4 teams.
No, that is definitely.
I think Philly had, because I think they were. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not sold on Jalen Carter, right? But I feel like the Nolan Smith pick I don't really like for them. I feel like they needed corners. Ooh. I really felt they did.
I mean, they got Kelee Ringo in the.
Kelee Ringo I don't think is a very good corner. I think they were better corners. I preferred the guy from Mississippi State. Not Mississippi State. What's South Carolina? Cam Smith.
Hey, what about the white cornerback from Iowa who got selected to the Denver? Yeah, the crackerback for the Denver Broncos. What else do we call him? Blanket of Snow.
Blanket of Snow is great.
The Caucasian Crusher, the
The cocky
Cornstarch Crusader,
the cocky crusher.
the Cocky Crusher. I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
calling white folk that now. Cockies.
Cockies. But Riley Moss is a cornerback from Iowa. He was selected in the 3rd round. And again, we talked about this rare breed, a white cornerback. Go check out our TikTok if you haven't seen it already. But I don't know, man. I just thought this draft was a lot of fun. A lot of just like unknowns, and I've been seeing it a lot on Twitter. I feel like basically every fan went home from this draft pretty happy. I don't think there was any fan base that was like, damn, we did horrible. This was one of our worst drafts in years. Maybe the 49ers, because they just didn't have very much real estate. But besides that, I feel like everyone kind of walked away a winner from this draft.
I'm with you. I feel like some teams definitely did miss. Like
Detroit. I will say Detroit. I think
Detroit. I'm not
Detroit
with you on
missed.
that. I'm not with you on that. I mean, they got skill positions. Jahmyr Gibbs, they have to replace somehow.
Too high.
Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. My whole thing is too high, but if Gibbs ends up being 1A, then it's not too high.
Yeah, but they just signed David Montgomery too.
Yeah, but they also traded Swift and they lost Jamal Williams.
Yeah, but
and I feel like Gibbs is going to be better than both of them. I really think Gibbs has star potential.
Would you rather? For me, I would have rather had Jalen Carter there, or I would have rather had Bijan, or I would have rather had Christian Gonzalez. I just think those are more.
Bijan was gone.
But they could have picked Bijan before they traded out. They had a top 6 pick before Atlanta picked him at 7.
I think Gibbs. I get why the teams would want Gibbs. The gap isn't that big between Gibbs and Bijan.
See, that's wild. So. I disagree with that completely. I think Bijan was the only guy who was worth a top 10 consideration at running back, and even then, I still think that's high, depending on the fit. Jahmyr Gibbs was more like end of the 1st round. Like, I thought that's where he was gonna go, like Buffalo, Kansas City. I don't know, just one of those teams. I don't know. Again, just a reach from like just a draft point of view. I think they could have gotten him later, and they could have added a really good defensive piece. Because think about how bad the Detroit defense was last year. They were
I hear you. I think secondary was a big need for them. And I'm surprised they didn't go with that, especially in the earlier rounds. But I don't hate it. They had to replace Hockenson because Hockenson was a mid pick when they drafted him. He's still a mid player. They got the guy from Iowa. Tight ends we talk about, they slid a lot. A lot of people thought the tight ends were going to go crazy in the 1st round. Michael Mayer, Darnell Washington.
They all went in the 2nd. I mean,
late second too. Kincaid was the earliest one. Mayer went late. Darnell went in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
what's his name?
The Packers picked one.
The guy from Iowa. The guy from Iowa. Was it Van Ness? Not Van Ness is the guy that y'all picked, but I'm talking about the tight end from. He has
Sam
2 first names. Laporta. He was the 2nd tight end off the board. Schoonmaker went 2nd round.
I don't know why we drafted too from Penn State. He went to the Jags.
Yeah. I'm not a big tight end guy, but I know a lot of people were guessing that earlier in the season.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, are there any other, I guess, picks that shocked you, good fits that you really like?
Honestly, I probably have to go. Let me think. I got to think up on this because it was a long draft.
Yeah.
And I'll
give you one. I think winners of the draft for me are the Baltimore Ravens. They got Lamar Jackson locked up, which was my biggest complaint about their offseason so far, was not paying him. They finally got the deal done. And then they go and get him an explosive wide receiver in the 1st round in Zay Flowers. Get some defensive help. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited for the Ravens. I think like it's a solid draft class. They might not have had the best and most deep draft class, but the Zay Flowers pick and just getting Lamar Jackson that deal done this weekend was best case scenario for them. I think they're absolute winners this past weekend.
I'm going to second that. I'm going to add a little caveat too for all the Lamar Baltimore fans here. Let's dead this whole Lamar doesn't have help. Let's dead it. No more. This is the end of it. He got Odell. He got his money. He got Zay Flowers. He has Rashad Bateman. He has Mark Andrews. It's over. It's over. No more excuses. It is the same way the Cowboys are on the clock in the NFC, rightfully so. AFC, the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. It is AFC Championship or bust. No more excuses. You should be competing with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs now to make it to the Super Bowl. No more excuses. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense that Lamar doesn't have help. I always thought he had help. That never was the excuse for me. It was Lamar's play. But now there's no more excuses. I don't want to hear none of this. He didn't coming off an injury, da-da-da-da-da. He has the help. They fired the coordinator. They got him an MVP and built an offense around him. They gave him Odell Beckham Jr. They gave him Zay Flowers. They drafted Rashad Bateman. He has a top 2-3 tight end in the league. This is it. I don't want to hear nothing. I do not want to hear anything.
Well,
no more excuses.
Hey, I'm with you. I don't think there are any more excuses, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think my bold prediction, I might have a couple bold predictions for this season. I'll start with one right now. I think the Ravens will win that division. I think the AFC North, lock it up. Give me Baltimore as my early prediction to win the division for this season, because I think this is everything, like you said. This is the best team Lamar has had. There's no more excuses. He got paid. This is his time. He has to win a championship.
I better not hear none of this. Well, he doesn't have a running back. He was the running game. He was the running back, and y'all wanted to get rid of them. None of it. I don't want to hear.
Now they're gonna get healthy. There's no more COVID. There's no more health and safety protocols. There's no more of that bullshit. The Ravens have put together a good roster, good running backs. Again, unless they get just absolutely ravaged by injuries.
Even then, I do not care. I do not care.
See, but I think that's unfair.
My whole thing is, how many times is injury is going to be a thing before it's like it's a pattern. This is what the Ravens do. The Ravens get hurt every single year. Every single year the Ravens get hurt. So I expect them to get hurt. I don't care. I expect one of Lamar's receivers to get hurt. I don't care. You complain about not having help. I do not care. Hollywood Brown, who I think is an okay receiver, he left y'all, had a great year in Arizona without Lamar. I don't want to hear it. This is put up and shut up time for Lamar Jackson fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with it because, I mean, these are the best.
How many excuses
is the best receiving core that he's had. This is the best O-line he's going to have. Yeah, I mean, everything is in the stars. So I guess we just got to wait and see what happens, but I'm really excited post-draft.
Not every team is gonna have a perfect team, right? The Bengals haven't had an O-line in 2 years yet. They're going to back-to-back AFC Championship games. Lamar, I don't want to hear it. They get hurt. Jamar Chase was hurt for half the year. I don't want to hear none of it. Excuses is done. Jim Harbaugh on the clock too. Jim Harbaugh, you're on the clock too.
Oh, you're saying Jim Harbaugh's on the hot seat?
On the clock too. Because I'm comparing it, because what has Mike Tomlin gets him to Mike Tomlin has gotten them to the playoffs every single year. Rather, he doesn't do a squat in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin still gets him to the playoffs. Mike McCarthy, whether you think he's a sack or whatever, Mike McCarthy has gotten the Cowboys better every single year since he's got there, and his quarterback hasn't been there for half those games. Jim Harbaugh, you are on the clock too. Let's start holding team. Gage, I know you don't like Mike McCarthy. Let's hold. This is Jim Harbaugh, right? Or Jim Harbaugh is in Michigan.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh's in Michigan. This is
John Harbaugh. You're on the clock. I think you're a good coach, but the expectations. Why does John Harbaugh get away with murder and Mike McCarthy doesn't? Beyond me.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see, man. I wanted to ask a hypothetical in this situation. If the Ravens stink next year, who do you think the scapegoat is going to be? Because Lamar's going to have everything. All of them, they just paid him. They got him all the weapons and everything. Is the next step John Harbaugh, you think?
Yes.
After this? If they stink next year,
yes,
they're more likely to get rid of John Harbaugh than they are Lamar, is what you're saying.
Because they paid Lamar. Paid Lamar.
Okay.
John Harbaugh, even though I think he's a good coach and he's one of the, if not the Baltimore's best coach ever. I'm talking strictly coaching. Why does he get a pass and other coaches do not? You know what I'm saying? Gage, let's be honest. Let's keep it a stack. You want to talk about, I'm bringing up Mike McCarthy because I am a Mike McCarthy defender. I feel like he gets, I'm not saying he's Jesus Christ incarnate, but I think he gets scapegoated a lot. What has the difference been between what Harbaugh has done and what Mike McCarthy? Because Mike McCarthy has done a better job in recent years with Dallas than what John Harbaugh has done in Baltimore. And I don't want to hear injuries. Lamar was hurt. We get it. All his corners, his defense was hurt. We get it. Same thing happened with McCarthy. Dak was hurt for a season and a half. Still got him to 8 wins. Dak was hurt last year for 4 or 5 games. Still got him to the divisional round.
Fair enough. I mean, I think it's hard to compare because also the
I think
AFC is a lot tougher than the NFC. Straight up.
Who did Mike McCarthy? Mike McCarthy was getting wins against that AFC.
No,
he got wins. He got wins against that Cincinnati team without his starting quarterback. That it's nasty business. I'm telling you, if Harbaugh and them don't make an AFC Championship game, I want Harbaugh's head on a stick.
I don't really have a reason to defend Harbaugh.
No, you don't. I'm just want you to. You know, I'm trying to get you.
Yeah, it's just so hard. I'm not gonna give Mike McCarthy credit because fuck you. But
you get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
I think we move goalposts for coaches we like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everybody does it, but I'm just saying.
And I mean, I definitely do it for Matt LaFleur. I mean, we do it for Sean Payton. We do it for a lot of guys who haven't won anything significant. But then when you really think about it, it's like there haven't been a lot of coaches who have won and been that great.
Multiple Super Bowls.
Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Bill Belichick. Like they're just a handful of
hold on. Sean McVay ain't off that list too. Sean McVay got 1 chip.
No, 2 Super Bowl appearances and one with Jared Goff at quarterback.
Of course, but Jared Goff's not a scrub. But what I'm saying, McVay ain't. He not Teflon either. He not Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. Because the Rams are gonna suck for the next 3 years, and that's on McVay's head. That's on McVay's head. They sucked last year. I get it. They got a Super Bowl and they get some leniency. Cool. Everybody else, McCarthy got some leniency. Harbaugh got some leniency. Doug Peterson got some leniency. Let's dead it. McVay, I think he's a great coach. I'm not saying he's not a great coach, but he still gotta do a good job. You can't just because you got rid of your draft picks for a Super Bowl don't mean you can stop coaching.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And I think that's why I think a lot of Rams fans want them to improve this year. We didn't talk a lot about them because they didn't have a lot of draft picks in this year's draft.
And they stunk.
And they stunk. Yeah, like you mentioned. But I don't know. I feel like it's too early for them to think about getting rid of him. If like they're more worried about him retiring than they are thinking about firing him at this point. But you're right. I think there's definitely like there are field goals that are being moved or field goal posts that are being moved on coaches. And I mean, it's kind of unavoidable when you think about the league as a whole. And like I said, there are only a handful of coaches that have won anything meaningful in the last decade. And have been at a consistent level, but that's just me.
I'm with you. All
right. Well, we still got a little bit of time. I think we covered the NFL pretty good. Obviously, we'll talk more about it as the offseason continues. You get more storylines, free agency, all that stuff. Just obviously follow so you can keep up with us. But next, let's talk about the NBA, man, and let's close out with the NBA, and after that we'll do some put you on, and we'll get out of here. All right, but first let's talk about the NBA, man. Let's talk about the MVP first, because obviously the playoffs are going on, and when this episode comes out, that like the playoff series are going to be a little weird. Right now we're at the start of round 2. So I guess kind of start. The Suns are down 2-0 to the Nuggets right now. And Jokic, who many thought was going to win the MVP, ended up getting second. And the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, wins MVP. And his team currently leads 1-0 in the series against the Celtics. So, man, just crazy turn of events. Because I think you and me, when we talked about it earlier this season, we were both kind of like, yeah, Jokic is going to win it. And we see Embiid get it. And I'm not mad at it. I think he definitely deserves it.
I'm not mad at it because let me explain where right? I think, first of all, Joel Embiid needs to thank Kendrick Perkins for going on that nasty press tour for him to get that MVP. Not saying that Joel didn't have a case for it, but it was just nasty work by Kendrick Perkins. Nasty work. Because I think out of all 3 of Jokic's years where he could have won MVP and has won MVP, this was the most Teflon one of them all. They got the 1 seed. He was very clearly the best offensive player in basketball this year. I thought I thought he should have got MVP, but I understand why he did it because of the unspoken rule of you cannot win 3 MVPs without winning a championship sometime in between. And if Jokic wins an MVP championship this year, I think we're all going to look back on this year and be like, yeah, Jokic should have had the MVP. Jokic should have had the MVP because I'm with him, right? If you get 3 MVPs in a row, you're entering a certain combo of a top 10, top 15 player of all time. Do I think Jokic is there? No. No, I don't. Do I think he'll get there? Probably not. Do I think Jokic is a top 50 player of all time? Yes. Yes, I do. I think he is. But I think at a certain level, people need to understand what it is. Joel, he deserves it for the simple fact of just for his legacy. I think an MVP would be nice. I think he has been a top 5 player in basketball the last 3 years. I mean, 3 second place finishes would have looked real nasty on his resume. So I think him having one, and because I think Jokic is better, him having one of Jokic's too, not mad at it. But now it puts him on the clock. None of this whining. That was so nasty. Like I just didn't like it. Jokic, Joel was crying, whining for a guy that talks a lot of shit to other players. It was nasty work by Joel, like talking shit about Jokic and then ducking the smoke the next game. It was nasty work by him and Kendrick Perkins. That was a hit job what he did on Jokic. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not mad at him getting it. I think we should just keep it a stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made some very good points. I really don't have anything to disagree with because everything that like you said just makes 100% sense with like the Embiid situation. Like you said, he's been a top 5 player in the league for the past 3 years, got the second place finishes. And even though he might not have been better than Jokic this year, it just felt like the right time to give Embiid that MVP. So I'm not mad at it. I think it's the right selection. In my opinion, I don't think that Jokic as a 3-time MVP. And are you really gonna make Jokic the first 3 straight MVP, 3 times straight Bird. MVPs? Yeah, winner since Larry Bird. Really, he was the last one to do it.
Yeah, Larry Bird. Yeah, Larry Bird was the first one. LeBron never went 3 times. He went 2.
Yeah, I know LeBron.
And KD got it.
It wasn't Magic.
No, Magic never got 3 in a row. No. Kobe only. Oh, don't get me started. I'm shaking.
Oh yeah, right now. Steve Nash.
I'm shaking.
Sorry.
I'm shaking right now.
But it's okay.
But no, I'm cool with that award. Honestly, I'm excited to talk about the playoffs. The Knicks are good. I'm happy for Jalen Brunson, man, from Dallas by way. I appreciate what he's done for us, and I'm glad he's getting time in New York, man, to shine. RJ Barrett agenda, we're live and well. Same with Julius. My agendas are thriving right now. How about you?
My agendas are doing pretty shitty right now because the Bucks are out, and I thought the Bucks were going to be the favorites. I think a lot of people had the Bucks as the favorites to win. But I've just been enjoying basketball now. I think like the end of the Sacramento Golden State series, amazing. And it sucks to see Sacramento lose, but I think they're going to be a really good team for the upcoming future. I'm a big De'Aaron Fox fan, and I will back you up on any takes that you have on him.
God, we're spreading agendas with De'Aaron Fox this summer.
I will help you spread those agendas. I love De'Aaron Fox, but yeah, I'm just really excited about this Golden State LA series. We saw Game 1 last night as we're recording this, and AD is definitely gonna be the key X-Factor. Player. He's the X-Factor in this entire playoffs. Like, not just the series. He might be the most important player in the playoffs because if he is playing at the level that he has been,
the Lakers will win the finals.
The Lakers might win the championship. Yes, it's crazy because LeBron's still doing his thing. Even though he didn't have the greatest shooting night, he still put up his 20, 10, and whatever.
LeBron can't shoot anymore. Let's dead that. He should. LeBron should not take another 3.
Stop. That is hearsay. You were talking down to my king goat, okay, who knocked out Dylan Brooks out of the league, sent him to Shanghai, China, where he's going to be playing with the Shanghai Sharks now. And Dylan, that he did it to himself. He walked into the bear cave, covered in honey.
Covered in honey. And I'm with the problem with Dylan Brooks. What fucked Dylan Brooks up with, as a shit talker myself, what fucked Dylan Brooks up is he didn't double down. Stay with me, Gage. I have no problem with you talking shit to LeBron. I'm with Steven Jackson. Not everybody gotta like LeBron. We don't all have to bow down. It don't gotta be that way, you know? All the greats, we had haters. That is okay. You could be a fucking hater. That is okay. What screwed him over is he didn't double down. He should have doubled down. When LeBron had 20 and 20 and he lost, he shouldn't have ran away from the podium. He should have went up there and said, that wasn't on me. The 2020 wasn't on me. That was on such and such. But that was on my teammates too. That wasn't just on me.
Well, the problem is he wasn't playing very good either.
No, you could. It doesn't matter if you don't play good. It does not. I don't get what's that obsession of you got to play good to talk shit. That's not a real thing. You don't have to be good to talk shit. You don't.
But you don't think the feeling of the organization was like, hey, you poked the bear, like he said he was joking about it, but he really did do that. He got LeBron riled up, and ultimately, like, yeah, you could say what you want about them in that series, but the tide did turn after he said that. They beat him straight right after that.
I'm with you. I think the organization threw him out to dry. There's a great tweet about it that compared this what happened with Dillon Brooks and the Grizzlies to what happened with Michael Irving and the Cowboys about Jimmy Johnson and Troy Aikman. Jimmy Johnson invited Troy Aikman into his office, and he was like, "Hey, like Michael's always late for practices. He's not practicing hard enough, and I don't know how to punish him. Should I cut him? Should I suspend him, or what?" And then Troy Aikman said, "No, you don't do that to Michael Irvin. What you do is his best friend is on the fourth string. You fire his best friend to send a message, and that's what the Grizzlies did to Ja Morant. The Grizzlies fired his best friend in Dillon Brooks and told him a message: if you don't start putting your big boy pants on, that's gonna be you next. And the only reason why that wasn't you is because you're too good. But your buddy that stunk it up, that was talking shit with you, yeah, he's going to Israel. He's going to China. That brother's not playing anymore.
Hope you know that's Chinese, what happened, buddy.
Hope you know Chinese, buddy." That's exactly what happened to Dillon Brooks. It wasn't that Dillon Brooks wasn't good enough. Dillon Brooks wasn't good enough to do all this shit talking for the Grizzlies. If he played okay and Ja went to bat for him and he held it down, then he would still have been on the team. But it was the fact that Ja, they can't have cut Ja Morant. You can't cut Ja Morant. But what you can do is you can cut his best friend for doing the same dumbass shit, because his best friend is not as good as you. So to send you a message, you want to have your buddies on the team, you guys want to kiki and talk shit about LeBron, cool. Start playing better. Because now, Dillon Brooks is off the team. Who knows who the next one is? It might be Tyus Jones. It might be Brandon Clark. It might be Jaren Jackson next. It might be Jaren Jackson next if they keep stinking it up.
Hey,
that was the Dillon Brooks cut wasn't a message to Dillon Brooks. That Dillon Brooks cut was a message to Ja Morant. That's what it was. Let's keep it as that's what it was.
NBA
you see what I'm
insider,
saying?
Yeah, NBA insider Ethan Hamilton has the scoop, and that is that honestly, I think there's definitely some logic in that theory. Just to kind of switch the culture of the team of like, we're not going to talk down on our opponents. They were playing against LeBron as an 8 seed, and then Dillon Brooks decided to say that. So I think that's kind of what
it was, just the straw that brought the camel back.
Yeah. It
was the dancing. It was the job with the gun stuff. It was all of that. That was the straw that broke the camel back. They went wimping out.
Yep.
Even though I think they have Steven Adams there, it's a different story. That series, I digress. But that's really what that Dillon Brooks stuff about. It was him and John, the whole team in general. Because, like I said, if Dillon Brooks would have went in that podium after getting 20-20'd on and after getting 40 ball, the whole team, because it wasn't just him that got 40 balls. The whole team got 40 balls.
Yeah.
If he would have went and said, yeah, that was a fluke, they won't ever do it again, you know, I would have gave him a round of applause. That's a real hater. And that's a real hater.
Yeah.
If you're going to hate all the way through, and Dillon Brooks did not hate all the way through. He ran from the smoke. If I'm him, he didn't put the honey on himself. A guy like me, I would have put the honey on myself, and while I'm still getting whipped, I'm putting more, and I'm letting the bear know.
Okay, well, Dillon Brooks did not do that. He covered himself in honey, walked into the bear's cave, and then got eaten and torn to shreds by the bear.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as King James. And that is why we will be bidding Dillon Brooks a fair ni hao, I think.
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Have fun in China, bozo. But
the funny thing is, I already know. Mark, clip this. Dillon Brooks will play with LeBron James sometime in his career. Clip this. He's gonna do it. I already know.
Yeah, all jokes aside, shout out to Dillon Brooks.
He'll get a job somewhere else.
Hopefully he'll get a job somewhere else. Yeah, he's not a bad guy. Just likes to talk shit. To the wrong guy, obviously my king. But we'll get to more LeBron praise later in the season. You know how much Damn, I might need to be put on Meat Watch one more time for this LeBron talk. But
Yeah,
again,
we're putting
Dylan,
you
that
on
might
Meat.
be for a later part in the season.
No, you're getting put on Meat Watch. But I do think yeah. But keep going. Sorry.
Maybe not today's episode. We'll see, Dylan. Anyway, it's time for our last segment of the day and our favorite segment.
Let us put you on.
All right, E, let's put you on, man. What do we got
I'll
for this
start
week? Do
this
you want to
week.
start with music or do you want to start with movies and TV?
Honestly, I think I'm gonna start with music this week. Recommendation for the week, I'm gonna do Funky Stuff by Jiro Inagaki and his Soul Media. It's I've never really been to like classical music or jazz music. I clown my friends Jarris and Yaki for listening to it all the time. But this is a very good funky jazz album that I've been enjoying a lot, especially while working out. So definitely listen to it if you're into that like city pop Japanese type of music. It's not quite exactly city pop, but it's in that vein of Japanese music. Very good listening experience.
All right, very cool. Well, I'm interested to check it out. If you'd like to listen to some of the stuff that we're listening to, check out the Are We Recording playlist on Apple and Spotify. I am gonna go with 423 by Mike Dean. Just came out and it's an electronica album. So not really my normal. I'm going with something a little bit outside the box, but The Weeknd was on some of these songs, so that's kind of what got me tuned in. But the more I've listened to it, the production is just awesome. Mike Dean is a legend. And yeah, this is if this is what like The Weeknd's music is trending to, like this darker kind of like electronic sound, we might be in for another great Abel album. So 423 by Mike Dean, check it out. All right, for movies and TV, what are you recommending to our fans?
Movies and TV. I guess when this comes out, the new Guardians of the Galaxy will be out, and I want to recommend the second Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
I know a lot of people love the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and we try not to put on mainstream music, but Guardians of the Galaxy is actually my favorite, like, I guess, series in the Marvel universe, and I just love the soundtracks for both of them too, very, very much, and I'm excited to hear Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is my recommendation for the week.
100% agreed. I love both of those movies. Chris Pratt, amazing in the Super Mario Brothers movie too. So he's doing big numbers at the box office. I am gonna go with a documentary. I have not done a documentary. I know, but you might be a little underwhelmed because it's a sports documentary. But I thought it was really cool. It's on Netflix. It's the Redeem Team documentary. It's about 2008 Olympic.
I cried the first time I watched it.
Absolutely sobbing with the Kobe stories. That's mostly why I tuned in, and I was not disappointed. It was just such a cool experience getting to see how those guys prepared for the Olympics. That story about Kobe running through Pau Gasol is just fucking crazy. But yeah,
you're gonna make me emotional over that.
I know. I know. The Redeem Team on Netflix. Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
That's been Put You On. Put You On. And I think this week we're gonna do we're gonna update the playlist this week. Fuck it. We're gonna update the playlist this week. So in the description down below, you're gonna find our recording playlist. Like it, let us know what your favorite song is. Thank you guys for listening, man. Another great episode of our recording with 007, Mr. Gage Sutton. You already know, the young Rottweiler, Mr. 5'5" of Pure Temptation, Pablo Frescobar, the Don, Donnie, Big Sex, Ethan Hamilton.
I had another nickname for you. I can't remember what it was.
Doubleback?
Doubleback. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of another one for you to use for the intro to the next episode.
Fuck it, we'll figure it out. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe, man. Road to 1,000 subs. We very much appreciate it. Make sure to check out our NFL mock draft with all the guys. It's going to be in the description on the channel. Just look for it. Thank you guys. Namaste.